Welcome back to a new episode on the Story Slam series, and today we'll be hearing Ethan Shahan's story.
I'm Ethan. I studied abroad in Rennes, France last summer. I also don't have anything written up here, so this is a little bit off the cuff, but I'll try my best here. So I studied abroad in Rennes, France last summer, and while I was there, I was lucky enough to have a fantastic host family. They were warm, they were welcoming, they took me to their beach house on vacation over the weekend. We bonded over limoncello, we got drunk and debated about politics. It was fantastic. And on my very first night in their house in Rennes, through absolutely no fault of their own, they nearly killed me. So, this is that story. I have a lot of food allergies, right? This is a big concern going abroad to another country I've never been to. Beforehand, I prepared and I made up these little allergy cards, right? Listing out all my allergies. If I went to a restaurant, I could just hand this to somebody, be sure that whatever I ordered on the menu, I was good to go, right? These don't account for the allergies that you don't know about. So, when I got to my host family's home, my host mom would be making dinners and breakfasts for me for the next month, and so she was really sure to check if I had any allergies. I handed her the card, made sure we were all good, happy, safe, all good, right? That very first night, she was proud to welcome me with the most traditional dish of the area of the Brittany region of France, which is the galette. A galette is like a savory crepe, right? It's like a crepe, and traditionally it has like ham and cheese, and there's like egg on top. All good stuff, really, really nice. And of course, this is my first night with this family. I'm trying to make a good impression. I'm trying to, respect their food, respect all this stuff. And so I'm digging in. I am loving this, right? It tastes great. You can't, like ham, cheese, egg, you can't go wrong there, right? A little too eager. Pretty soon start to realize that something's going on. Something's not quite right. Start to feel it in my throat. And I tell my host mom this, tell him I'm worried. So I excuse myself, go up to my room, take a Benadryl, decide to just kind of call. After a little bit, usually that's enough. Usually I don't have a lot of allergies that are like too severe, so one Benadryl does the trick, puts me to bed, all good. After a while, 30 minutes, I realize that it's not getting any better, a little worse. I decide to take another Benadryl. Another 30 minutes, starts to get a little worse, take another Benadryl. This is now 3 Benadryls. If you're wondering why I hadn't used an EpiPen at this point or something, I haven't had to use one in over 10 years. I hardly know what a reaction that severe enough feels like to warrant it, right? But at this point, I'm having trouble breathing, and soon I start to realize that I'm also breaking out into full body hives, which has only happened once before as well. A little terrifying. Eventually, I start to realize that I kind of probably need to tell my host parents about this, these people that I've just met 5 hours ago. And so just to go downstairs and tell them, maybe I need a doctor or something, right? And so, here I should also say that when I first met them, they were very, very insistent that I should start working on my French and stuff. That's what they're there for. It's an educational opportunity that, I should really start getting more comfortable with my French. Despite taking over 2 years of French in college, I am not good at French. I will freely admit that, but, I want to make a good impression. So I'm sitting there in my room trying to practice what I'm going to say to them. And I'm like, okay. Je pense que j'ai besoin en maison, whatever. And I don't even know if that's right at this point either. But eventually I go downstairs and I mumble out these words to them, and they're like, all right, maybe we should do something, right? They get a doctor on the phone, they sit me down, give me a glass of water, make sure I'm comfortable, all this stuff. Within 15 minutes, right, 3 doctors show up to the door of the house. When I tell you this is some of the best medical care I have gotten in my entire life, this is no exaggeration. 3 doctors show up to the house within 15 minutes. When I was growing up and had a severe allergy or something, I'd have to rush to my dad's car, rush to the hospital, wait in a room and hope that they could treat me soon. 3 doctors show up within 15 minutes. It's incredible, right? They sit me down on the table on the outside patio, have this huge machine, rig me up with wires, all this stuff. 3 doctors, great. Only one of them kind of speaks English, so not so great. I'm able to kind of talk with this guy as my host mom is on the phone with the institute that I'm taking classes with, making sure insurance and stuff is all worked out, all that stuff. But despite all this panicking and all this situation, felt completely at ease because all these people are treating me, all these people are really helppful, and my host family, they're not freaking out, they're not, on me trying to, help me all this stuff, they're just laughing, right? This is ridiculous. My very first night, what the hell are the chances? Who knew, right? We double check the ingredients, this and that, make sure that everything I could eat, talking to the doctor, all this stuff. So Now is where I tell you a little bit more background about this thing called a galette. A galette, ham, cheese, egg, crepe. The crepe is made with an ingredient called sarrasin, which translated to English is buckwheat. Buckwheat is not a common ingredient in America. You can find it here and there, but it's much, much more common in France. Buckwheat is pretty related to the sesame seed, which I'm also very allergic to. So it turns out, what do you know? I am severely allergic to buckwheat. And the best place to find this out is your first night with your new host family in Rennes, France. So after, they figure out all this stuff, they give me a corticosteroid, and I'm good within like the next hour. We're just sitting back. We're finally kind of relaxed, able to take a breath and, laugh about the situation. And let me be sure that my host mom loved to tell all her friends about this the next few days. I was the talk of the town, right? We're cleaning everything up. The doctors start going. My host mom is like asking them, what do we owe them, all this stuff. And they're like, no, it's free of charge. All this. 3 doctors come to the house within 15 minutes, sit me down, string me up, give me a steroid, all this stuff. They're gone within, hour and a half, whatever, free of charge. All right. I wish that I was like a pre-med student or like had applications going on that I could like boast about this. Oh, this is like what the medical system is like in other countries. That I could use this story for that kind of thing. I am not, but it is nevertheless a good story. And I certainly learned a lot about the medical system in another country, which was incredible. And I'm okay. So that's what matters too. And now I know that I'm allergic to buckwheat. So.
We'd like to remind you that the opinions expressed by our guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Center for Education Abroad or the University of Rochester. Our podcast aims to foster dialogue, critical thinking, and exploration of various topics related to education abroad. We encourage listeners to consider multiple viewpoints, engage in respectful discourse, and form their own opinions. Thank you for tuning in and being part of our community.